She's not rejecting you because you're older. She's rejecting you because you're trying to act younger. Owning your age. The key to attraction for older men. Many older men make the mistake of trying to fit into the world of younger women by mimicking their style, slang, and social habits. They assume that acting youthful will make them more appealing, but in reality, it has the opposite effect. Women are not drawn to older men because they act like they're still in their 20s. They are attracted to the stability, wisdom, and self-assuredness that younger men often lack. The moment an older man starts forcing himself into trends he doesn't truly understand, whether it's using outdated slang, dressing in clothes meant for a younger crowd, or pretending to be well-versed in Gen Z culture, he loses the very thing that makes him attractive: his authenticity. True confidence comes from owning who you are, not trying to be someone you're not. Look at the men who effortlessly attract women well into their 40s, 50s, and even 60s. Think George Clooney, Idris Elba, or Pierce Brosnan. They don't chase trends or try to fit in with a younger crowd. They carry themselves with timeless style, intelligence, and a deep understanding of who they are. A man who is comfortable in his own skin, who has cultivated wisdom and presence rather than chasing youth, commands respect and admiration. The key to attracting younger women isn't about pretending to be young. It's about being a man who has something real to offer. Instead of trying to relate to youth, focus on refining yourself. Develop a sense of style that suits your age, speak with confidence instead of using forced slang, and create a life that naturally draws people in. Women don't want an older man who is still figuring himself out. They want a man who already knows exactly who he is. Wealth isn't the flex. Confidence is. There's nothing wrong with having money. In fact, financial stability is undeniably attractive. It signals success, capability, and a life well lived. But when an older man starts flaunting his wealth as if it's his only asset, he unknowingly repels the very women he's trying to attract. Younger women aren't turned off by a man's success. They're turned off when they sense that he's using it to compensate for insecurity. A man who constantly name-drops expensive brands, brags about his investments, or makes sure she knows how much his watch costs isn't showcasing confidence. He's exposing a need for validation. True wealth doesn't need to be announced. A man who genuinely owns his success lets it speak for itself through his lifestyle, his composure, and the way he carries himself. He doesn't feel the need to prove anything because he already knows his value. When a woman is with a man like this, she senses his financial power without him having to say a word. He doesn't throw money around to impress her. He does so because he enjoys life, and she's invited into that world without being sold on it. The difference between confidence and insecurity is subtle but unmistakable. A man who leads with his wealth assumes that's all he has to offer, while a man who leads with his presence shows her that his wealth is simply a byproduct of his ambition, discipline, and purpose. The takeaway? If you want to attract younger women, don't try to buy their attention. Earn it through your character. Let your success be seen, not shouted. Women don't want a man who is rich in money, but poor in self-respect. Stop complaining. Start thriving. One of the biggest mistakes older men make when dating younger women is constantly complaining about modern women as if it's their personality trait. Nothing makes a woman lose interest faster than a man who sounds bitter about dating. Ranting about how women today are entitled or how things were better back in the day doesn't make you sound wise. It makes you sound outdated and resentful. Here's the truth. The world has changed. Dating has changed. But the moment you start blaming women for your struggles, you send a clear message. You feel powerless. Complaining about women tells them three things. 1. You lack control over your own dating life. 2. You have unresolved resentment. And 3. You refuse to adapt. No woman, especially a younger one, wants to date a man who feels like a victim. Instead of focusing on what's wrong with the dating world, focus on how you can thrive in it. Younger women don't hate older men. They hate older men who act like they're stuck in the past. A man who carries himself with confidence, who understands the game without complaining about it, and who knows his worth will always stand out. Instead of saying, "Women today are impossible," shift your mindset to, "I know exactly what I bring to the table, and I choose wisely." Adaptation is key. The men who win aren't the ones who dwell on how things used to be. They're the ones who embrace reality and move with power. If you carry yourself like a man who refuses to be bitter, women will naturally be drawn to you. Confidence is timeless. Complaining is not. Confidence over control. Why possessiveness pushes women away. One of the biggest mistakes older men make when dating younger women is becoming overly possessive. At first, it may seem like caring. "Text me when you get there," or "Who are you going out with?" But when it escalates into controlling behavior, demanding instant replies, questioning her outfit choices, or insisting she avoids certain people, it quickly turns from attraction to suffocation. Here's the hard truth. No woman, especially a younger one, wants to feel like she's in a cage. When a man becomes too controlling, it signals deep insecurity, not strength. Many older men fall into this trap because they've experienced past heartbreak, a brutal breakup, a woman leaving them for someone else, or the fear of competition from younger men. Instead of trusting in their own value, they try to control the situation, believing that if they monitor her enough, they can prevent being hurt again. But this approach backfires every time. A confident man makes a woman feel wanted, not owned. He trusts her, knowing that if she's truly interested, she will choose to stay. The more you try to control a woman, the more she will pull away. Instead of being possessive, embody confidence. Let her know you value yourself enough not to chase or beg for reassurance. Be the kind of man she doesn't want to walk away from, not one she feels she has to escape. The key to keeping a younger woman attracted isn't control, it's self-assurance. A high-value man doesn't fear losing a woman because he knows his worth. And when you truly understand this, she will naturally want to stay by your side, not out of obligation, but out of genuine desire. The fatal mistake. Talking down to her like she's a child. One of the most common and unattractive mistakes older men make when dating younger women is speaking to them in a condescending manner. It often happens without realizing it, correcting her, explaining things she already knows, or dismissing her opinions as naive simply because of her age. While older men may think they are being helpful or imparting wisdom, it often comes across as patronizing and kills attraction instantly. Younger women are not looking for a father figure or a teacher. They want a partner. When a woman shares her thoughts or excitement about something, the way a man responds can either deepen the connection or push her away. Imagine she tells you about a book she just read, something she's passionate about. If you respond with, "Oh, that's cute, you just figured that out," or, "Trust me, you'll understand it better when you're older," you've instantly made her feel small. Instead of engaging in a stimulating conversation, you've diminished her enthusiasm and, more importantly, her respect for you. The right approach? Inspire, don't belittle. A confident, attractive older man listens, engages, and adds to the conversation without making her feel inferior. Instead of shutting her down, ask, "What did you like most about it?" Or, "That's interesting, tell me more." This shows that you value her thoughts, respect her intelligence, and see her as an equal rather than someone who needs to be educated. Respect is everything in attraction. A woman wants to feel heard and understood, not lectured. If you can engage with her on an equal level, she will be drawn to you not just for your experience, but for how you make her feel, like an intelligent, valued, and respected woman. The silent killer of attraction, dressing like you've given up. Attraction is a multi-layered experience, and while confidence, charisma, and personality are essential, your appearance plays a critical role in the first impression. One of the biggest mistakes older men make, often unknowingly, is dressing in a way that signals they've stopped trying. This doesn't mean you need to follow every fashion trend or dress like a 25-year-old influencer, but a man who looks like he's given up on his appearance is sending a subconscious message. I no longer care about myself. Women, especially younger women, are drawn to men who take care of themselves. It's not about looking young. It's about looking put together. A well-groomed man in fitted, stylish clothing commands attention and respect. Think about men like George Clooney, Idris Elba, or Pierce Brosnan. They aren't trying to look younger. They own their age with style and grace. They understand that timeless fashion, good grooming, and self-respect are far more attractive than desperately chasing youth. The problem is, many men reach a certain point in life where they believe their success or personality is enough to carry them. They stop caring about their wardrobe, grooming, or overall presentation, assuming that if a woman likes them, she should accept them as they are. While confidence is key, laziness in appearance isn't attractive. Women want a man who values himself enough to put in the effort. The solution is simple. Dress like a man who respects himself. Invest in timeless, well-fitted clothing. Keep yourself well-groomed. Pay attention to the small details, your shoes, your watch, your overall style. When you take care of yourself, you send a clear message. I'm a man who values myself, and that's why others value me too. That mindset is irresistible at any age. The pitfall of acting. Like you know everything. One of the most common mistakes older men make when dating younger women is assuming their life experience gives them the right to lecture, correct, or explain things in a condescending way. While wisdom and experience are attractive qualities, no woman, regardless of her age, wants to feel like she's being talked down to. The difference between being an attractive, confident older man and one who repels women comes down to how you handle conversations. When a younger woman shares her thoughts, ideas, or interests, an insecure man will immediately try to dominate the discussion. He might say things like, "Oh, that's cute, but you don't really understand how that works yet," or, "Trust me, you'll change your mind when you're older." While he may think he's being helpful, he's actually killing attraction. Why? Because he's signaling that he doesn't respect her intelligence or her ability to think for herself. On the other hand, a high-value man knows how to engage in meaningful conversations without making a woman feel small. He listens, asks thoughtful questions, and encourages her passion rather than dismissing it. Instead of constantly trying to educate her, he adds value by sharing insights in a way that sparks curiosity rather than shutting her down. Women don't want a professor. They want a partner who respects them and sees them as an equal. The key is balance. Yes, your experience is valuable, but how you share it determines whether it attracts or repels. If you want to be the kind of man that women respect and desire, remember this. Confidence is attractive, but condescension is not. Engage, inspire, and most importantly, respect her mind. Because the man who does that will always stand out. The power of self-respect and presence. One of the most important lessons in life, especially for men over 18, is understanding that true attraction, whether in relationships, business, or personal growth, comes from self-respect and presence. Too many men chase validation, seeking approval from women, society, or their peers, without realizing that the most magnetic quality they can possess is being fully grounded in who they are. Confidence isn't about trying to impress. It's about knowing your worth, setting boundaries, and maintaining your own path regardless of external opinions. This applies to all areas of life. In relationships, a man who respects himself won't tolerate disrespect, nor will he feel the need to prove his value. In his career, he won't beg for opportunities. He'll create them. In friendships, he won't chase people who don't appreciate him. He'll surround himself with those who add value. The world respects a man who respects himself. Women are drawn to men who don't seek their validation, but instead create an energy of certainty and purpose. The lesson is simple. Stop seeking approval and start building yourself into someone you respect. When you do that, you'll naturally attract the right people, opportunities, and relationships into your life.